Good morning. Go ahead and just find your seat here. Ah, sometimes it's good to acknowledge that when you come to class, when you set up, and as you sit down, that you know how they say like most of the work is done because you've like overcome any obstacles that keep you from practicing, from doing this practice. And it's not easy, to completely put things down and see this as a priority and understand, that putting down everything, that it's really worth it. It's worth um, spending this time. And, one way we can um, learn that for ourselves is just to reflect, after you do the practice in any way that you take your little time out to kind of ground and connect to reality, that it's never time wasted. Like you probably won't have any remorse when you stop and practice. So taking some nice deep breaths here. It's a good start just by seeing the goodness. And as we start to just clear out all of that inner chatter, even just all of the ways that the mind likes to kind of spin out. So there is a lot of letting go in this work. There's a lot of letting go. It's even remarkable. You just keep letting go. Thanks, Ashley, for acknowledging it's what you had to put down to come here. Whether you're here in the real time or maybe you are somewhere in the future taking this class. Let's start to wake up the body. You could just reach your arms all the way up, just straight up, reach up. And notice how when you're reaching up that there's a real pushing down, like I'm letting my legs really drop down here. And as my legs drop down, it affects my pelvis. So I can feel the little pelvic tilt. So there's my lumbar curve. Spine pulls in a little bit. And then let's just take one arm down. Keep that nice lift of the chest. We'll do that really basic, just back and forth action. Checking out like how the body feels today. This could be fairly slow. Even getting into the details, like feel your hands or your fingers as you do this back and forth. Or notice the space around your brain, the flow of your breath. I love that definition of a yogi that says a yogi is one whose spine is full of prana. Spine is full of prana. So there's this kind of life force just flowing through your spine. And there's just something even about the physical posture that kind of comes alive when we have this arrangement of the spine where there's no compressing or pinching. In a way, the spine is just our teacher, right? Good. And then as you start to let this go, you're just going to, if you were like cross-legged, and in any way, you're going to undo your legs and then just take your feet kind of wide apart here. And we'll just start that little dropping back and forth, letting the hips move, legs move. Spine, just getting that There's a little teeny rotation in the spine here. Little bit of twist. Good. Now just take the legs out to the side. Really reach them out and feel that you're straightening your knees here. So in order to straighten your knees, maybe you lean back a little bit. So as you really straighten your knees, it's going to push your thighs down. Okay, so the knees are not floating up, the thighs aren't floating up. In fact, when you press your knees down, you can also get a sense. Now you could take your hands and push right at the very top of your thighs. And then hands come back to the floor, and now use your leg muscles to push down the very tops of your thighs. And as that grounds down, you start to lift up through your spine. So exploring the pressing down to lift up. And as you lift up, it's like, oh, pelvic tilt. Your pelvis is involved. Because as I'm pressing my thighs straight down, it's really hard to let the pelvis tilt back or spill back and slouch. That as I push my thighs straight down, then the sides of the body go straight up. So just playing with this, wiggle your toes a little bit. Toes are pointing up. Nice and wide across the chest and the head. The crown of the head is straight up. So arrange your spine. So it's interesting, like this pose right here probably doesn't look like anything to write home about. But boy, I can feel this like, ooh, waking up, the body here and the spaciousness within, and that just the energy through your legs. Throat is aligned. Now we're going to do and we're going to do it kind of as a warm up, but it's a very opposite action in that I'm going to lean back, take your left leg in front of you, straight in front, and then that right foot just hops up and over, okay? And then that left hand comes forward, and you take a little twist, so I'm leaning back a little bit, twisting. Ground those sits bones, like really keep them down, lengthen the sides of the body. Small twist. This is our first twist. This one can even feel good. Like don't look back with your face. Let your head look forward a little bit so you can feel just your chest rotating and the grounding of that right foot. Just push down. Good. Now as we let this go, we're going to go wide apart again. So we're doing these two kind of opposites. Right leg forward, that left foot hops up and over, and don't roll. So we get both sits bones down, that right hand is forward, and you just lengthen your spine. So this is a twist, and so it's all about the spine. Spacious, ribs are lifting. Breathe. Good. As you let this go, the legs go wide open apart. Reaching out like a big morning stretch. Chest is lifting. And as you let go, that left foot forward, that right foot up and over. Lift up your spine, little twist. Yeah, it doesn't matter like really what, you don't want to crank your head. It's more just giving that little wiggle, just lifting up, twisting. Releasing, legs go wide apart. Even keep your hands behind you so you're really wide across your chest. And then that right leg straight forward, that left foot up and over. Push straight down with your hips. And yeah, it might be upright, if that feels okay for your hips. But a little leaning back and then lift your spine up into your body. Airways open. Good. And then as you let this go, we're going to go right onto all fours. So arms nice and strong here. Give the knees a little space apart. And then go ahead into your cat and cow. So we just start to move the spine, kind of checking out. how the spine feels today, getting just the right tilt of the pelvis as the pelvis is tilting back and forth. I always think of that like a whip, kind of has to, or a wave machine, there's that initiating the wave. And that's right at the base of your spine, like your tailbone, your sacrum. As your sacrum moves, it's sending this big wave through your spine. And so just doing this in a really smooth, organic way. Good. Now, we are going to briefly flip onto the back. So as we flip onto the back, very specifically working with your lower back, we're going to do our pelvic tilts here. So arms drop down, shoulder blades flat, and get that feeling right around your navel and below your navel that you contract and you pull your lower back flat down to the floor. Even the very tip of your tailbone kind of lifts up, okay? Like it's trying to point up to the ceiling. You really get into that, like all of the musculature around your navel, everything is kind of pulling right into your navel. Like a little black hole there, like everything drawing in. But then you relax that and you do the opposite. So now we're interested in contracting and working the lower back muscles to lift your sacrum up. And this is going to point your tailbone down. Now, if you're, maybe you're familiar with this and you just start to go back and forth and see if you can even sense like the right side, left side, kind of moving evenly. It can be interesting to even put your fingertips on your hip bones and just feel this rocking action through your pelvis. And while you're breathing here, so good to wake up these lower muscles. Lower front, lower back. So move back and forth. Now you're going to take both legs up into the air. Arms go out to the side. And let your lumbar have a little teeny curve here. Just again, the legs straightening and then slowly let legs open wider apart. Keep stay very relaxed around your mouth and your throat and feel the energy in your spine. And then take the legs together and then open them apart again and then together and open apart. Really strong. Now, as we let go of this, just bend your knees. You're going to roll all the way over to the side. And as you come back up to all fours, we're going to just start with the very, very small cow pose. In that the chest is reaching forward. And the sacrum is kind of pulling in the body. You can see how I have an arch to my lower back, that lumbar curve. But I really want that energy of the chest forward. And just as a reminder, we're going to kind of keep this position as we go to down dog. Because in down dog, yes, the hips go back, but you really do have a little bit of that chest forward feeling. So notice toes tuck under. As you lift up, keep your sacrum in. As you gradually chest forward. Wake up your hands and your feet as you start to move to down dog. Now, yes, it's true that you do look back, like the head ends up kind of between your arms and your eyeballs are looking back to your toes. But you can still reach your chest forward a little bit. Reach your hips back. Very slight untuck of your tailbone. Breathe into your side ribs. Good. And then just walk the feet forward and bring yourself right up to standing. Push into your feet. As you come all the way up, you're just going to reach your arms way out to the side. So those two actions kind of through your spine here that we wake up as we just go to Tadasana, to our mountain pose, is the shoulder blades on the back. So you're just pressing you get that feeling of your scapula on your back. And so that, you might feel like as the back body, you can feel your back body. But then in the front body, we have that lower navel area contracting slightly. So it's like the upper back or shoulder blades press on your back, and then the lower part, navel in. So that makes sure that everything is kind of hugging into the center then in your Tadasana. Let's take the arms all the way up and interlace the fingers, rotate the palms up. Look straight forward here. Good to kind of pause and just look closely and make sure that you're fully and completely here. What's your attitude right now? So it's really, I've noticed in the teachings that we can develop then really beautiful qualities of the heart. Could we do that right now? Reach the arms now out to the side and balance on your right leg. And as you balance on your leg, you're going to lift your left foot a little bit and just rotate your foot around. Circle it around. Keep your shoulder blades on your back here. And lift up. They get a little taller. Straighten your right leg. And then straighten your left leg and bend it. And then straighten it and bend it. Straightening and bending. Breathing. Not collapsing at all. And then just letting that go. You can bring your arms down for a moment. In fact, let's just let the arms swing. 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 Nice and loose. You could even do a little sigh, which is good. If like tree pose, sometimes we get just really tight. So, that's nice and loose. So you're letting things go here. And then we'll do the other side. So arms go out now, shoulder blades on the back. Feel the left leg. Think you're preparing for tree pose. You're looking forward. So this is very much about what I find in yoga is moving beyond just a superficial awareness of the body. There's a lot to pay attention to here. As you lift your right foot, just circle the foot around. Even these very small movements, it is really good to just see like, oh, this is good. Yeah, I'm just like, it feels good to get the ankle moving. And then as you straighten the right leg, I'm just reaching the leg forward and then bending the knee and straightening and bending like, oh yeah, this is good too. I'm just focusing on this isolated movement. while my mind is at ease as I'm balancing on one leg and cultivating this quality of contentment. Ah, good. As you let go, just bringing that right foot down. So you could sneak your way up towards the front of the mat. Let's go through some sun salutations here. Really, just very basic sun salutations that will just kind of flow through. So palms together in front of the heart, mountain pose, like right into this strong pose. Arms come up. Reach the arms out to the side and fold forward. Breathing and feeling. Fewer words because you're so busy breathing and feeling here. Now go back to down dog, stepping back and bring your full awareness. Really interested. What does your down dog feel like? What's happening? Moving to your plank pose. So we're practicing moving into the pose and then let go of any analysis of the pose and just experience the pose. Yeah, this is it's like we could be really clear. This is a good pose too. This is worthy of practicing. And then as you lower down onto your belly, onto your mat, and as you move into your back bend, you could start with Cobra, lifting up. Feel free to lift to a different back bend as you want to. And whatever pose you've chosen, your back bend, you just pause. And it's good to be clear. Like, I could really overthink this. But I'm just going to experience. I'm choosing to experience the pose. What I call overfeel the pose. And really recognize, like, yeah, this is a good pose to practice also. This is worthy of my time. So I'm going to practice wholeheartedly. As you let go, you go back to your down dog. You push down, you lift up. Like, even the transition is done in a way that's reflective of how your body is feeling today. Try not to get caught up in trying to mimic me or do all of this work exactly like I do. It's good to remember your body is your teacher. From your down dog, we're going to take the right foot and step the right foot forward. Take a little lunge here, straighten the back leg. In your own way. Now you're going to come up to your crescent pose. You're just going to reach up. That back leg goes way back and really feel the inner left leg. From your inner left groin, reaching back the inseam of your left leg. And then from that inner groin, it just goes straight through your pubic bone and up the front of the body. In your own way. And then your arms go to the side, you lean forward a little bit, and you move right into your tree pose. We call it the tree dance. Grounding. Start with stability and grow from stability. As you let go, the left foot comes down, you get even taller as you take palms together in front of the heart. Arms coming up. Arms go to the side, forward fold. Maybe a deeper breath here, or you could listen to your breath the whole time
So the breath takes you deeper beyond that superficial experience, deeper into the body, moving back to your down dog. So remember how hips go back, and just so slightly there's the chest forward, like your ribs are separating away from your pelvis. Long sides of the body. Slowly to your plank. There might be certain things about these poses that you remember, that you've learned as you practice these poses. You can bring in, that experience, but then breathe and feel what it feels like today. Now lower down onto your belly. Moving to any back bend that you want to. So I'm going to go to Cobra Pose. Bringing the pubic bone down, pressing it down. Really wide across the chest. Maybe a little Shavasana. You reach your arms back, you lift your legs. It's just a reflection of like the body, really whole body waking up to this back bend. And then you go back to your downward facing dog. Lift up. So can you sense the very tip of your tailbone in what direction it is pointing? Could you untuck it a little bit? And see the effect. Strong arms, really wake up arm strength, leg strength. Just like we started in the beginning of class, like your legs straight, the very tops of your thighs pressing back. And then as you let go, that left foot will step forward. You're in your big high lunge position. Strong, light. And then your crescent. So you find your foot position. The back leg, as it straightens, really sense the inner groin, right groin. Reach back through that inner inseam of your right leg. And then it connects the pubic bone and just lifts up. Opening here. So this is that lower back, lower front awareness. So I've got that lift, lower abdominal muscles working. And boy, they really work when we're going to take the arms out to the side. When you lean forward and move into your tree. So notice how it helps to engage abdominal strength, back strength, even now your whole waistband. As you just move into your tree pose. As you place your right foot down, palms together in front of the heart, look forward. Feel the whole back body, prana in your spine. Spine strength. So arms are going to come up again. You sweep up. You move to your forward fold all the way over. You step back to your down dog. Now what's happening with your awareness? Non-distraction. We're practicing. Moving to plank. Breathe, feel, possibly even stillness. Like maybe you've done these poses a lot, many, many times. So you could just move right into stillness, calm. Lower down onto your belly, moving to your back bend. Let your heart reach forward. There's even like you could briefly do a little Sphinx pose. Elbows, forearms down. Heart reaching forward. Make sure you drop your tailbone down here. The lift of your navel, chest forward. This is a nice one to practice before upward facing dog or something like a bow pose. So notice how even like doing a little Sphinx pose, that energy in your spine here really gets that uplifting strength. Now just sneak into a Shavasana. You lift your legs, you reach your arms back. And then mindfully to your downward facing dog. Breathing and feeling. So yes, we're keeping the sequence fairly simple. So there's not a lot to figure out. Therefore, the mind can calm. So you get to practice your own way. Like how could you step that right foot lightly forward into your lunge? Just kind of efficiently right into it. Your crescent, you come up. Really get that strength right around hips, pelvis, straightening back leg, inseam of the left leg, reaching back through inner left heel. Calm eyes reflect the calm brain. And the arms go to the side. You lightly, kind of efficiently to your tree. Exploring. Firmness, yet the fluidity within. Move deeply into this present moment experience. It's like a whole world can open up when we do this. This world below superficiality. And just stay really strong and tall, even as you let go of this pose. When that left foot comes down, taking palms together in front of the heart, and just sensing the space around the heart. Arms sweeping up. Forward fold. Breathing, feeling. Are you straightening your legs? Like really doing that. That lifting up. Back to your downward facing dog. Sharp angle in the hips. Mindful, like what is speaking to you in your body? Practice listening. Relaxing, yet very firm and sharp pose. Energy in your spine. Gradually to your plank, notice how the hands and feet move a little bit here to adjust for the position of plank pose, the kind of the architecture of this pose. So here, all of the abdominal muscles contract. lowering down. So I am just building on this back bend, and you could do that, or exploring and just offering these different ways of moving into a back bend. You could start with that cobra action, the spine, the back bend, the length, the lift of the legs, the reaching back. Shavasana, if you want, Dhanurasana, where you bend your knees, you grab your feet, and you push your feet into your hands, you lift your thighs up. But right away here, you might notice, like, oh, this pose is not for me today. And you just choose a different back bend. Feel your spine, the flow of breath, eyes calm, brain calm. And then you're releasing and just very strong as you transition to your down dog. So maybe there's one little cue that really sticks out for you, for your body. You know, one of the major ones for me is that little untuck of the tailbone. It really keeps your sacrum in your body. You're not starting to round your lower back. So practice now very lightly that left foot stepping forward. Your lunge. Again, just efficient. You don't need to turn into a flurry of thinking. So breathing helps. Just feel the body, let it arrange itself. And then you really ground down, you push down, lifting up to your crescent. Right away, that back leg, that inseam of the right leg, reaching back. And then prana in your spine, that lifting up. It's like it just gets stronger and stronger, stronger. More interconnected, the whole body, this unifying. As you bring awareness into the body, it naturally reduces that overthinking. The arms go to the side. So, tree, you get that stepping and giving the body time to move into grounded, stable. Like you're kind of exploring your plumb line here. Sometimes tree pose feels like almost weightless once you locate that center from the sole of your foot up to the crown of your head without jumping over any part. Like your knee, your hip, your lower back. Feel, And then just staying tall as you let go of this, as you bring that right foot down and keep the heart light. Keep a really soft face. We'll take palms together in front of the heart. Breathe and feel like now grounding. Crown of the head up. Really sensing the space, the flow of energy through your spine. Just the pleasantness of the freedom of tension around your eyes, around your lips. Good. And then we'll just bring the arms down. Pause. So let's move to the wall for a moment. We're going to move to the wall and take our little balanced twist. But what I would like to do is you could use your mat or a blanket or pillow of any kind, just for a little extra cushion under your knee. So I have my cushion here, and I'm just going to use the wall a little bit. You can use the wall, a chair, like any object that you're near. So I'm coming down onto my knees. And I'm just going to touch the wall with my right hand. A very light touch for stability. Now I'm going to sneak a little bit closer to the wall. It might feel like I'm a little bit too close here, but you'll see why we want to have this position. So whatever you're using, you're pretty close to it. And then the right foot comes forward. So I have my right foot on the floor. So I'm going to focus on really lifting up. Most of my weight is on my left leg. So I'm not leaning forward at all. Straight up and down. Lift out of your left hip. So let's do this incorrectly for a moment. So in your left hip, let yourself kind of sink down. So in that left hip joint, like it pushes out to the left a little bit. So we're practicing this like anti-gravity, like we're decompressing. So we're going to lift up, and just so you notice how that left hip really pulls in. And imagine like you're lifting up out of that left hip joint. And right up through the very crown of your head. So chin is level. So from here, this is a good place to twist, because your hips now are not going to move. You are not going to start to face your hip bones towards the wall. The hip bones keep looking forward as you start to twist towards the wall. Now I like to take my left hand and just reach across and feel that right leg, like it's not moving. And the right hand starts to reach back. And I have fingertips on the wall here. Notice what's happening in your pelvis and how you're lifting your navel up a little bit as you're twisting. Lift your rib cage up, twist. Very organic. The head starts to join in. Now, mostly focusing on the neck vertebra lengthening here. And twisting, and lengthening, twisting. Let your right hip kind of float forward. Don't let the right hip float back. Twist. You might even take your fingers away from the wall and really reach that right arm back. If that feels like it gets tippy, you could take your fingers back to the wall. Shoulders are down. Good. Release your twist. Both knees come down, and then I'm just going to rotate to face the other side. So the left foot is forward, the left foot on the floor. Ground your right leg down. Lift up out of your right hip. And do that for a moment where you just kind of sink down in your right hip. Now you might think that feels like, like quite a collapsing action. But the truth is we do this a lot. We're just unconscious. We don't notice it in our body. So lift up and see like, this is really worthy to practice this now. Twisting. Reach that right hand across. Do not let your left hip float back. It will probably try to do that. So Keeping that hip forward, and let it be like your ribs are rotating. Reaching the left fingers back. Lengthen the spine, twist. Breathe, feel. It can be good to practice reaching back here and working with your balance. Letting go, untwist. And then as you bring that left knee down, you're going to switch again. And I want to practice going like right into this again. So right foot forward, balance on your left leg, get really tall, and let your shoulders start to rotate. And as you're rotating your shoulders, make sure they don't lift up. Tall, up, out of your left hip, and just play. One thing that's good to do here is to move into your twist, and then let go of the twist a little bit, and then move into it again. And then untwist. I like doing upright twists like this, so it really is muscular effort that's doing the twist. Sometimes we twist on the floor, and it's more of like gravity just kind of flopping you into the twist. So it's really good to practice here, these twisting muscles. And then just switch sides. So the knee comes down, you rotate around. Now you can be doing this the whole time without any wall support at all. Certainly you could. Upright. I love working with this uprightness. Just lift up. And even intentionally a small twist. Straight up twisting. Breathing. You might let go of the twist a little bit and then move back into it so you kind of hone in on just that right effort. One thing we probably all do here is we wish for a bigger twist. We just want a better, bigger twist. So don't get hung up on that. Don't get caught in that trap, that web. You're appreciating, seeing like this is worthy practice. This is really good. Oftentimes we overlook this beautiful work while we're wishing for, better poses. Good, and then just letting this go. Untwist. And as you come up and as you move back to your mat, we're going to do that same sequence again. One more, that same sun salute with our little crescent and tree. So palms together, tall. After that twist, you sweep your arms up. Forward fold all the way over. Untuck your tailbone here. Reach the crown of the head down. Appreciate the inversion, this upside down feeling, this fresh perspective, like you're tossed upside down. Everything is inverted. Back to your down dog. The length of the spine, strong. Moving to your plank, even you might have a little habit of closing your eyes in plank. Like, all I know is my eyelids are relaxed. Lowering down onto the floor. Move into your back bend. You could start small and breathe. And just let your body decide on how it wants to move into this. Relax, throat, get a little bit of a throat stretch. And then moving back to your downward facing dog. Your right foot is going to step forward, big step up to your lunge. Light, very conscious, like awake lunge. So this isn't like, I'm just resting, collapsing down at all. Because now it's just going to be very light. You push down as you lift up here. Opening up. Draw the tailbone in. Straighten that back leg. And then just let the arms go to the side. You lean forward, you move into your tree. Balance. Lifting up. Straight up and down, finding that plumb line. Staying tall as you let go of this, as you bring that left foot down. Mountain pose, you take palms together in front of your heart. Moment of stillness. So to align not only the spine, aligning the heart and the mind. Arms coming up, folding forward. Legs growing, longer. Back to downward facing dog. Even here, you might close your eyes so you can feel deeply internally, really talking to yourself with that sweetness. Like, honey, is there any tension here? Or even just, asking yourself, are you really here? Are you in the present moment? Because that's really where life occurs. Plank. And just moving through your plank onto your belly. Moving into your back bend. Every time you move into your back bend, it's maybe a slightly different approach. So it's not just on autopilot. You're exploring, you're learning each time. Moving back to down dog. A little untuck of your tailbone. And the left foot stepping up. A big part of the lunge here is what's happening in your pelvis. Like, we're not just relaxing the belly down. There's a muscular engagement. Keeping this buoyant so that when you lift, it is stable. Legs straightening and lifting up here through your spine. Arms up, but shoulders relaxing. Strong, but steady, calm. Your tree pose, stepping onto that left leg. It's a doozy. It's a big step there. According to your experience, your body here. And as you let go of the right foot down, palms together in front of your heart, you pause. Your gaze is forward. We're going to bring arms down here. Keep your gaze forward, but maybe close your eyes.
Good. We're going to take the feet, just one last little standing pose here. Let the feet step kind of wide or apart. And feet stay parallel. Take in the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers. Kind of ignite the legs, this energy up. Draw your shoulder blades together so we really keep the chest open in this forward bend. Now with your arms behind you, you might even lift your hands, lift your arms like away from your back a little bit, as long as that helps you to draw your shoulder blades together. Okay? And then there's that flexion in the hips. We fold forward. Long spine. You could take your time, folding over. Breathing, feeling. A little bend of the right knee. Shoulder blades together. Head just hanging. A little bend of the left knee. Move back and forth. Good. And then pushing into your feet and coming all the way up. So as you come up, you just release your fingers. And you step your feet closer together. So we're going to move on to the floor, and we're going to move into just a little hip work here. So we'll do this in little increments. So the legs in front of you, we'll just keep the legs straight. And then you can start at first. So I'm going to keep my right leg forward and take my left foot up and over here. Hug this leg in. And just notice how that feels in that hip. At the same time, spine is not asleep, that we lift up. Now, the more you lift up through your spine here, you might feel that in your hips. So this is kind of just stretching, opening these outer hip muscles. And then you lean a little bit over to your right, and you can also then bend the right knee and fold that back. So I'm going to sit back down here, but as I'm sitting down, if this feels like, oh, ouchie, my knee doesn't like that, my hip doesn't like that, one really effective support here is, now this is a pretty thick blanket in that if it's going to lift me up, and I'm taking kind of the pointing forward, and so I can just sit on that corner of the mat or of the blanket. And once I get lifted up here, it's just a little easier on my hip and my knee. And so I also don't want to lean over to the right here. So make sure you arrange so that your hips are both grounding down. So this will give the body a little bit of time here. The bottom knee, that right knee, I'm aiming pointing forward, okay? Now, if we go into this, what's called the Gomugasana Legs, this is where I would even take the top leg. Now, I like to lean forward and lift up a little bit and really squeeze my legs together. The thighs really pull together here, and I reach my toes and my feet out to the side. So see how my feet end up out to the side here. There's something about then this position of the bones and the joints that, can only be really experienced when we're sitting like this.
That's good. You just got to give the body a little time here to open to this. The arms can come down, but make sure, like that top leg, if this feels like my body is not opening to this, it's really tense, then you could just relax that top foot, like bring it back where it was, just a little more relaxed position. So you're really, just what feels right in your joints today. This pose, I know every time I do it, it's like, oh my gosh, did I get a different body all of a sudden? Like it feels really different. So your arms are going to go out, both hips straight down, just grounding down here. Reach your arms up. So you're going to bend that top elbow, that left elbow. You reach the fingers down the back and just reach your left elbow up. Now there's a tendency to kind of thrust your chest forward here. So lengthen out, just even your throat. I'm going to reach my left fingers down my back. There's triceps. So that's those muscles that are the opposite of your biceps. And triceps are kind of the back of your arm. So bicep, tricep underneath here. We stretch those. Breathe, spine full of prana. So the ribs are lifting. We still get this, really deep, I guess, stretch in your hips. These hips, knees, the flexing and rotating requires some lengthening of your muscles. So we let go, the arms go way out as they come down. And then we just let go of this. Little at a time, that top leg, undo, bottom leg. And you can just take your legs out to the side, get that, and notice like how that felt. Good. So other side here, I'm just going to stay on my blanket. See, the tip of my blanket is here, and I have like both sits bones. So left leg stays forward, that right foot goes up and over. Staying grounded, sitting up. I mean, yeah, truly, this could be your pose right here. And then you lean a little bit to the right so that when that right leg folds back, that right bottom knee points forward. Okay, and I'm not leaning. Wiggle around a little bit here. Finding my sits bones on the blanket. Tall upright. So again, if I'm moving now to full Gomugasana, that's cow face pose. I'm going to do kind of same position with both legs. Like now my top leg is also right on top of my bottom leg, and I'm going to lean forward. So I like to lift up and then sit back down. Even my top calf, because my calf muscles are not insignificant. So I kind of pull that muscle out of the way. Notice I'm tipping, so I'm grounding down and really feeling like today this feels okay on this side also. Reaching the arms up can help. Reaching up, grounding evenly down, and then that top elbow. So you notice when I bend the elbow, I'm not out to the side, rather it's kind of hugging in, so that when I reach my right fingers down my back, I'm not doing that winging of the elbow out. And then my left fingers kind of assist here. Feel. Just that right amount, like reaching my fingers down the back, just the right. Nice deep stretch, but clearly body opening to this. But the way that you know is not through my instructions, and that's pretty limited.
but it's you're feeling, you're breathing and feeling, and there's no limit. How you explore, feel, and learn. Worthy of your awareness, your interest. So stay here. And even like nice strong spine when you let go of this. You just reach out and you let go. Now as you undo your legs, releasing. So with the legs all folded up there, we just kind of flow outward. I'm going to remove my blankie, lean back a little bit, bend the knees, and do my little drop back and forth. Even that little teeny twist, little, just kind of rolling what feels right. And then taking yourself to Shavasana, you can please take a moment, prepare, find that arrangement. One good practice for Shavasana is to keep your knees bent for a moment. This is called half Shavasana. You know, arrange your upper body, your neck. And then even just after a minute or so, you could then extend the legs. You know, just like giving the body gradually moving into the pose. So we see like each pose as I had a teacher who really called these poses spiritual doorways. Each time, am I being kind and compassionate and understanding in this pose? Am I here? There's that continual putting things down, not following stories or distractions. So here there really is no controlling. It's in the physical body there's a full like letting go of the steering wheel, we call it. So now we're moving more into a meditation where we're simply aware of awareness. What's the trajectory of your awareness? Are you here? And you could be here, but still judging your body. And so we purify. This is a purification process. Bring awareness to your eyes. Eyes softening. You're very clear about what you're practicing. I'm letting go of tension. Because this tension is really clouding up my experience. My aim is to see things clearly just as they are. There's a human tendency to judge other people's, behaviors. We're really looking at our own behavior, our way that we relate, and sometimes even do ourselves harm. We could practice kind words here, planting these beautiful seeds. May I be free of tension. I don't need to like or dislike my body. Mm, But I can treat it as sacred and do whatever I can to keep it free of pain. Taking time and really listening to your body as you move your awareness below the surface into your body, letting the body soften, soften. In a way, this freedom, the only way we can cultivate this freedom is by giving ourselves this beautiful gift of our attention, stopping even for a moment and seeing that it's possible to be free. I can ah, let go. Kind of reveals the heart. The veils around the heart are pulled back. So clarity really leads to compassion, which leads to deeper clarity. This is a perfect place where we're completely still, completely still. With the sound of the bell, there's just a moment of reflecting. Like, is this practice really worthy of your time? And if so, why? What happens here that just doesn't happen when we're really caught up in our everyday life. This is a very personal choice. And as you move, as you let go of Shavasana and transition, coming up to seated pose, you can take palms together in front of the heart. And just maybe there's a wish, maybe there are some words you need to hear from yourself. Like, what guidance do you need, or what do you need to hear? Kind of water these seeds throughout the day. So this kindness that we show ourselves, this kindness that we sustain in our heart, even just the vibe of our presence, it's really contagious. It really matters to carry this into the world. So may others benefit from our work. May it shine forth and be a cause for healing and peace in this world. We'll close in with the sound of Om. Let's take a deep inhale. With deep gratitude. Everyone, thank you so much for pausing and practicing together. So today is Friday. I do hold a Saturday morning class. If you haven't attended that, it's 2 hours, and it really is for all levels of yogis. It's not some kind of advanced class, so keep that in mind. And it's all that info is on my website at boleryoga.com. And yeah, the Saturday morning is a Zoom class, so the link is there, and you just join in. And that Saturday class too, it's okay to attend part of it. I know everyone's doing their best on a Saturday morning. So, and yeah, keep me in mind if you have any questions or comments. I do get suggestions from people that really do help me make decisions of how to move forward. On Sundays, I've been announcing outdoor pop-up yoga, and I will put that on my website also of what's going to happen. It's a week-to-week thing of what kind of outdoor classes I can hold. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for chiming in, Mary Pat and Kathy. We will see you next time. Wishing you a wonderful practice.